watching News Source 8, the Weekend Edition.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Saturday edition, the weekend edition of News Source 8. I'm Sean Cunningham. Well, after years of planning and fundraising, the doors to the Caroline D. Gentile building have finally opened to the public. Brian Yacono was there.
Carolyn Gentile was active as a child and dedicated her life to building fitness opportunities for others to maintain health and wellness. Through the work of the community, university, and government, a facility bearing her name opened to the public for the first time.
This building now is a state-of-the-arts building. WAGM was a state-of-the-arts building in 1960 when it opened its doors. This now brings us up to a point where the facilities are state-of-the-arts. They're the kind of thing that we need for today's kinds of programs, times of change.
With tiles shining and windows spotless, a crowd with wide eyes recognized Gentile's dedication before embarking on guided tours and a chance to try the new equipment themselves.
That was good, yes. I am very interested in joining because it's just because they have a lot to offer. Yeah, a lot of different things. Yeah, maybe my legs feel good.
Students began using the facility Thursday and were happy to offer demonstrations and assistance. For them, Gentile Hall is a mark of new opportunities, just as Gentile herself envisioned.
I'm pretty excited. I wish it had been here earlier, but I run cross country, so I'm excited to be able to use the track and also get in the pool a little bit too.
Enthusiasm for this grand opening has been building for months and for some even years, but now that the community is inside, for some administrators, it's more than even they imagined.
I'm just overwhelmed. This is, if I'd have dreamt it up, I'd have shortchanged myself. We want to make sure that everyone in Presque Isle and all the surrounding communities knows that UMPI is their university.
Brian Yacono, News Source 8.
In other news, Governor Baldacci has called the state strong, secure, and healthy. In his State of the State address, the governor touched on key issues affecting local residents like property taxes and the state's overall financial standing. He also encouraged the future of a knowledge-based economy with an emphasis on education. But the governor also recognized a lot that's happening in Maine over the last 3 years.
A lot of water has gone over the dam in the first 3 years, and usually in a State of the State you go over the previous year, but I had to go over the previous 3 years and just have people understand everything in context. I think sometimes getting paper mills up and running and taking care of BRAC and working on the budget deficit and trying to keep the economy strong, you know, I just needed to be able to make sure that people understood the context for a lot of tough decisions.
A copy of Governor Baldacci's entire State of the State address can be accessed online on the web by going to www.maine.gov. Meanwhile, a lawmaker is submitting a bill that would increase the governor's pay and make him the highest paid state employee. The governor's annual salary, which is the lowest in the nation, was last increased in '87 when it jumped from $35,000 to $70,000. Republican Representative Gary Moore has submitted a bill scheduled for a public hearing on Friday that would make the governor's annual salary 10% higher than that of any other official in state government. If the bill passes, the governor's pay would jump to more than $220,000, or 10% higher than the salary of the chancellor of the University of Maine system. The idea of raising the governor's salary has some support from legislative leaders in both parties, but not necessarily the way Moore has proposed it. Well, for the first time, animal control officers met in Aroostook County for an advanced training program. Most county animal control officers, or ACOs, work part-time on a limited budget, making traveling downstate sessions a challenge. The advanced training course covers ACO responsibilities in the law, along with basic investigation information and using animals as evidence in court. Confronting animal hoarders also continues to be a priority. In light of severe natural disasters, new initiatives are being presented to Maine officers to learn from the past and prepare for the future.
I responded to the Hurricane Katrina and brought back some really, I think, useful information, and in starting a CART team, which is a community animal response team that I hope a lot of animal control officers will join in regards to helping animals in disaster if we have that, disaster in Aroostook County, which hopefully we never do.
Howlett is also working to increase the number of training hours required. She says the public's image of ACOs is changing, and they're much more than just dog catchers. Well, if you're the kind of person people can read quite easily, this next activity may not be for you. Or perhaps it could be with a little practice and some good intuition. And you're almost always guaranteed to have a good time. In tonight's Northern Perspective, meet some county card sharks who've been bitten by the Texas Hold'em bug. It's sweeping the nation. Texas Hold'em has indeed become the game of choice. Celebrities are cashing in their chips to throw their hands into the pot, and little-known poker greats have become overnight celebrities. And in between, there are the hundreds of thousands of people across America and in private homes like this, who meet once, twice, maybe 5 times a week to shuffle up and deal.
We've been playing a regular game with friends and community people that have an interest in just exploring their techniques and, you know, sharing their skill with other people.
Medora launched Wednesday Texas Hold'em night 3 years ago just to gather a few friends. It's now evolved, and although all friends still attend, they're certainly not few. He's had as many as 16, 17, even 20 people. Not bad considering his ain't the only game in town.
Texas Hold'em is the type of poker game that everyone's playing, and I'm very amazed to see that it's caught on to everybody of all ages.
According to Maine gambling laws, these social games are legal as long as they're not over $1,000, and no individual benefits financially from hosting the game. These games are about 3 things: learning the game, playing the game, having fun during the game.
I'm a conservative player. I kind of play the cards as they come, and every once in a while I'll bluff at a pot, but mostly conservative.
I've lost a lot of money early on. You just learn through trial and error. You get knocked out, and then you figure out not to do that.
If you know what means what to bet, when to fold, you can play any poker game, not necessarily Texas Hold'em, but I think that's what you need to learn before you play Texas Hold'em.
And it's also about something else: strategy, cultivating yours and learning other people's.
That's the biggest and hardest thing to learn, is you have to watch other people, learn other people's tendencies, and see what they do, and you make your plays based on them, not necessarily the cards that you have.
At times, these games are as rowdy as a college dorm. Other times, it's a quiet intensity, nerves on pins and needles, pensive stares, controlled concentration, all as cards are dealt and decisions made. Take a chance, bluff and stay in, or play it safe and get out. Fates of remaining players are in the dealer's hands, and the flop of 3 cards, bets are made, raised, and raised higher till someone's out or even all in. A good player can push other players around with the right bet, a straight face, and no conscience. But bet on this, even the best player has floundered on occasion.
I've had, you know, a flush and someone's had a full house, and that usually hurts. And sometimes pocket aces isn't enough either.
Kings and 3s, and the person next to me had pocket aces, and one was aces and 3s.
How do you handle that?
You pick up your stuff and go home.
And luck can
I was a ballerina then. I think I was born on a spaceship. It's really cool. I just said, here I am. Here I am. I was completely bald. It was so embarrassing. Daddy cried. He totally passed out.
They may not remember it exactly. We make sure their moms and dads do. Cary Medical Center.
Hi, I'm Gary Crocker. You may know me as a teller of funny stories. But today, I have a serious message. Winter is here, oil prices have doubled, and many of our neighbors can't afford to heat their homes. Governor Baldacci has established the Keep Maine Warm Charitable Fuel Fund so that our neighbors will be safe and warm this winter. To make your tax-deductible contribution, visit the website or call the 800 number on your screen. Your gift will give warmth to our neighbors in need.
Between my 2 phone bills, it's probably about $60 a month.
About $150.
Probably $100 a month.
With Vonage, you get unlimited calls to anywhere in the U.S. and Canada, and all the cool features you could
for one are included. And it's just $24.99 a month. Call 1-888-815-4866 and get your first month free. This offer is also available online and at these fine retailers. Vonage, leading the internet phone revolution.
An unlocked door proved too tempting to a criminal in Morris Hill. Your help is needed in solving tonight's Crime Stoppers Crime of the Month.
On Friday, September 30th, 2005, sometime before 11 a.m., a theft took place at a home on the Smith Road in Mars Hill. Police say someone entered the residence through an unlocked door on the porch. Once inside, the criminal took a Ruger 243 bolt-action rifle and scope, worth about $3,000. The rifle, which has a stainless steel barrel, was worth about $600, and the Smith Fender scope was valued at $2,500. If you have any information on this crime or any other crime, call Aroostook County Crime Stoppers at 1-800-638-8477. That's 1-800-638-TIPS. You do not have to give your name. Anyone providing information this month that leads to a grand jury indictment on this crime is eligible for a $1,000 award. Crime Stoppers will also pay for information on other felony crimes.
In other news around the state, a 22-year-old Augusta man has been sentenced in Bangor federal court to 10 years and 10 months in prison for robbing a Vassalboro credit union. Jimmy Lee Wilson, who pleaded guilty in August, was the getaway driver while two other men wearing ski masks robbed the Maine Savings Federal Credit Union at gunpoint back in October 2004. A trial date has been set for a second suspect in last fall's arson fire that destroyed the Freeburg Academy Gymnasium and everything in it. 18-year-old Max Noble pleaded not guilty to arson and conspiracy in federal court. A trial date was scheduled for March 6th. And police in Mexico, Maine say they'll be stepping up patrols around a home where the likeness of the Virgin Mary was found on a fire-blackened kitchen wall after a fire this week. Police say they're concerned the home will attract a lot of people because of media reports. Patrols will be stepped up, particularly at night. We'll be right back.
Maximize your winter adventure. Right now, Chateau Edmundston is offering a ski package money saver. One-night lodging, 2 Mon-Farline lift tickets, and breakfast for 2, all for $134 per day. Chateau Edmundston boasts beautiful remodeled rooms. Ease back and unwind in the swimming pool, whirlpool, bath, or sauna. So whether you're looking for a high-action vacation, quality time with your family, or a romantic rendezvous, this special ski package is for you. Chateau Edmundston, where every guest is treated like a king.
Remember us? We were confused about the new Medicare prescription drug benefit, Part D.
When it comes to my father's health,
And my wallet.
we want to stay informed.
That's right.
And we did get informed. Our local agency on aging showed us all the prescription drug plans, narrowed down our choices, and then we chose the plan that was just right for Dad.
And that's good for my wallet.
That's right, Dad. Your local area agency on aging can help you, too. Call us today.
AMHC, Kluke's Auto, County Sports, and the Kiru Indian Convention Center are sponsoring the second annual snowmobile run to raise funds for AMHC's Sexual Assault Services, the only sexual assault rape crisis center in Aroostook County.
Come spend the day, Saturday, February 11th, with Andy Santerre, the 2005 Busch North Series champion.
The 100-mile snowmobile run begins at 10 a.m. at the Caribou Inn and concludes with a buffet dinner and auction of NASCAR memorabilia.
Get your tickets at participating sponsors. Taking a look at weather, a little messy outside today, but looking at the temperatures in our area, Presque Isle's 36 degrees. Other temperatures in our area, Caribou's 32 degrees, Clayton Lake's 35, Holton's 43, Frenchville's 27, 46 in Fredericton. Around the state, 49 in Bangor, Millinocket's 37, state capital's 48 degrees, and 56 in Portland. Taking a look at tonight's page, overcast this evening with a couple of snow showers and partly cloudy with late flurries. Tomorrow, Sunday, breezy in the morning, otherwise cooler with times of clouds and sun. I wish there were flowers. Winds from the northwest at 16 miles per hour. Tomorrow evening, increasing clouds with winds from the north at 2 miles per hour and a low of 3. Stretching it out for the 5-day. Monday, times of clouds and sun with flurries, high of 25 degrees. Tuesday, intervals of clouds and sunshine with a low of 17. Wednesday, periods of clouds and sunshine with a high of 28 and a low of 9 degrees. Thursday, mostly cloudy with a high of 20. Friday, a chance for a morning flurry, otherwise mostly cloudy with a high of 20 and a low of 0. Well, some say Congress and the leaders in Washington could not care less about the middle class. Other critics allege their lack of concern is apparent in actions or lack of action. Here's Bill Tucker.
The middle class once defined the American dream. It's a dream that's becoming increasingly difficult to afford. Dramatic increases in productivity, which once meant rising wages, no longer has meaning as Americans have become disconnected from the economic wealth they generate.
If you look over the past 5 years, for example, productivity is up really quite impressively, about 17–18%. Middle-income family down each one of those years. The gap between the economy's productive capacity and the real incomes of middle-income families is wider than it's ever been.
In 2005, real wages fell again. To make up for falling wages, debt soared. Homeowners pulled out $500 billion in equity out of their homes and racked up a record $800 billion in credit card debt. Ignoring their plight, Congress rewrote the bankruptcy code so that erasing debt and a clean start are no longer a possibility. Rubbing salt into the wound, Congress pushed ahead with free trade treaties in 2005, the Central America Free Trade Agreement being the latest example, which forces American workers to compete with workers earning 50 cents an hour with no benefits.
There is no organized special interest that represents the middle class. We're workers primarily, first and foremost. We're people who want to send your kids to college, take care of your parents, retire in dignity. That doesn't fall into a specific special interest group with a lobbyist presence in Washington.
For example, imposing policy that raises the minimum payments on credit cards instead of imposing limits on the interest that credit card companies can charge.
The story in terms of what Congress is doing for the middle class is really about what they're not doing.
Bill Tucker, CNN, New York.
Reduce your electric bill by 10% and win $1,000? Now there's a win-win idea for everyone. You could win a $1,000 rebate on an Energy Star appliance if you cut your energy use by just 10% this winter. How can you save energy? Turn the thermostat down, delay laundry and dishes until you have a full load, and switch to energy-efficient bulbs. It could help you win a $1,000 rebate. For more tips and details, go to efficiencymaine.com. Save a watt, maybe win a lot.
Okay, shut her down.
And we'll all be better off here in Maine this winter.
We asked New Englanders how they keep their pipes from freezing in the cold New England winter.
If you're going to be away for an extended period of time or on a vacation, set your thermostat to at least 60 degrees. Have your pipes strained if you're going away for a long time. And have someone stop by and check your home while you're away. Hi.
Put the squeeze on the freeze. This message brought to you by the Concord Group Insurance Company.
Special Delivery is brought to you by the Aroostook Medical Center.
Can you rock babies and get paid for it? It's a great place to work. So much fun to work with these new little babies and to help parents learn their new role. The Aroostook Medical Center is the perfect place to have your baby.
Time for sports. So you were all over the county at various basketball games and other sports.
Yes, I was all over the county. I was up to St. Agatha, went to Presque Isle, Bruce went to Caribou, and Limestone.
Awesome.
Limestone took on Hodgson today at home, and Limestone came out the winner by a score of 69-44. Here's Dustin Morgan on the drive. He banked it in for two. LCS MSSM led the entire game after the third quarter. The score was 42-36, but the Eagles scored 27 points in the fourth quarter. Here's Andrew Kirshner with the steal and the layup. He finished with 13 points. Jeremy Summers added 16 points. Chris Kirshner had 15, and Danny Hayes had 10, 8 that were in the third quarter. Here's Hawks Seth Dorr on the steal. He drives it down and in for a bucket. Hawks' Kirby Sanford had 15 points as their high scorer. Now here's Matt Edmond inside to Summers, who turns and puts in a jumper. Nothing but net.
Caribou beat Bucksport 60-36 today. Here's Bucksport's Eddie Robbins with a jumper. Then Jordan Haynes puts one in for Caribou. He finished with 10 points. Caleb Rosser had 20 as the Vikings' high scorer. For Bucksport, Todd Freeman had 20 points. Caribou is now 7-6. Bucksport is 3-9. And on to the Presque Isle girls game with John Batts. The game was a close one today. The score is 22-21. Presque Isle up at the half. But unfortunately, the final score is not called in. And in other girls' action from today, Fort Kent beat Central. Warriors' Kristen Violet scored her 1,000th point. Congratulations, Kristen. Fort Fairfield beat Katahdin. Carrie Cunningham had 18 points for the Tigers, and Heather Hathaway had 16. For Katahdin, Jessica Green had 11. Ashland beat Van Buren. Crusader Lisa Lavasser had 12 points, and Hornet Whitney Flynn had 13. East Grand beat Wisdom. Allie McKay had 10 points, and Casey Parker had 11 for East Grand. For the Pioneers, Nicole St. Pierre had 20 points. And in boys action, East Grand beat Wisdom. For East Grand, Marcus Crocker had 24 points. Tyler Morse had 19. Kyle Dicker had 18, and Adam Bodine had 13 points and 12 rebounds. For Wisdom, Randy Tebow had 13 points. And in women's college hoops, Umpy beat St. Joe's today. Jessica Sear had 22 points. Sarah Beasley had 10 points and 10 rebounds, and Joanne Bubar had 14 points. For St. Joe's, Irene Tompkins was their high scorer with 16 points. And in hockey action, Presque Isle fell to Winslow today. Ryan Sear had the Wildcats' lone goal. For Winslow, Ben Grant and Kevin McCabe each had a goal, and Devin Greenier had 2. And it's time now for the ski report. The heavy rains over the last few days have caused problems for local ski areas. Operators are busy working on the trails. As always, call ahead or check the websites for the most up-to-date conditions. For Alpine, Big Rock and Mars Hill have 6 trails open. Lonesome Pine and Fort Kent has a 12 to 24-inch base. Trails will be groomed and ready for the weekend skiers. All trails are open. Mount Farlane and Edmonston has 10 trails open with corn snow that's machine groomed. Quaggy Joe and Presque Isle was open today and is open tomorrow 9 to 5. For cross-country, Caribou Ski Trails at the Country Club has 16-kilometer groomed snow for classic and skate skiing. The 10th Mountain Center in Fort Kent has all trails re-groomed, 18 kilometers for classical and freestyle. And the Aroostook State Park and Presque Isle trails are open, but conditions range from poor to fair. You need more snow before grooming can begin again. Call a park for trail updates. With the recent changes in the weather, a day of ice fishing has been pretty hard to plan. Long Lake had an ice fishing derby today, and the weather did not keep anyone from sitting inside. In fact, the conditions were favorable.
Long Lake Sporting Club expected about 100 people to participate in the derby. To their surprise, triple that amount have registered so far.
Awesome. Unbelievable turnout. We're right around 300 registrations. Our last count, we were around 285, so it's way beyond our expectations. Well, last week's rain would have killed the derby, but this week's weather right now, I mean, we had some snow this morning, a little bit of freezing rain, but there's no wind and it's comfortable.
This is the first year for the derby, and they plan on making it an annual event.
We felt getting on board with an ice fishing derby would have been a good glitch for the lake and for the town, and it's worked really well.
They wanted to make the derby an event for the whole family. So far, the kids have been showing up their parents.
So far, we registered 5 fish, and the 3 biggest fish have been registered by 2 10-year-old boys and a 13-year-old boy. That's the best part of the event so far. I mean, it's nice to see the kids come in here jumping and their parents alongside them. We'll have our awards ceremony tomorrow afternoon around 5 o'clock. Once all the fish are weighed and everything, we'll have the cash prizes given, and then also we have a lot of material prizes that we'll be raffling off too.
The proceeds from the derby are not all going to the sporting club. They are giving the money to the Northern Maine Medical Center.
Most of our proceeds are going to be going towards the Edgar J. Faraday Cancer Fund from the Northern Maine Medical Center in Fort Kent. We plan on giving 80% of our net proceeds to that cause. The remaining portion of the proceeds will be kept to kick off next year's event.
Some of the basketball games were a little quieter last night because the cheerleading squad had their own competition going on. 5 teams battled for the county title last night in Caribou. The annual event drew a huge crowd, as always. Holton, the defending Class C state champions who captured the PVC title 2 weeks ago, did it again. With a strong performance, they captured the title and also took the team stunts, tumbling, jumping motion, and dance. Fort Fairfield was second, with Caribou, Presque Isle, and CAHS all following. Individually, Alan Cody of Fort Fairfield and Beth Misho of Presque Isle took the individual jump awards, and Josh Barnes of Fort Fairfield and Tina Tardif of CAHS took the tumbling. The team's getting ready for the regional and state competitions later this month and early in February. Zach Parisi scored in the 5th round of the shootout to give the streaking New Jersey Devils a 3-2 victory over the visiting New York Islanders. It's the Devils' 9th straight win as they creep closer to the franchise record of 13 straight wins set nearly 5 years ago. Winning goalie Martin Brodeur made 37 saves through regulation and overtime. The Islanders staged a spirited comeback on third-period goals by Miroslav Shuton and Mark Parrish to wipe out a 2-0 Devils lead. New Jersey improves to 11-5 since CEO and general manager Lou Lamoriello took over as coach. The Islanders fall to 2-3 under interim coach Brad Shaw. So you were everywhere. Let's see, cheerleading. Well, that was last night. But you were ice fishing.
Yes.
Basketball. We'll be right back. You go.
The Ski Report is brought to you by your cold weather specialists, Sleepers and Caribou.
What accessories should I buy for winter?
Will these keep my feet dry ice fishing?
I wonder, will this be warm enough for skiing?
The cold weather specialists at Sleepers have all the answers. Just ask. If you're a skier, snowmobiler, or just want to stay warm and look good doing it, Sleepers cold weather specialists can help. Don't miss the January clearance sale on all skis, snowboards, and snowshoes. Men and women's Columbia jackets, $99. Kids jackets, $49. At Sleepers in Caribou.
Does the thought of the flu have you feeling blue? There are 3 things you can do.
You gotta soak, muffle, and go home. You gotta soak, muffle, and go home. You gotta soak, muffle, and go home. You gotta soak, muffle, and go home.
Follow these 3 steps until the flu will leave you alone.
The flu is no laughing matter. If you're concerned, visit MainePublicHealth.gov. The University of Maine at Presque Isle and Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Maine are teaming up to bring you the journey to wellness. Every Tuesday and Thursday morning between 6 and 7 a.m. during News Source 8 on WAGM TV, we'll take the journey together.
More people watch the NFL on CBS than any other network. Pittsburgh, Denver, the AFC Championship, Sunday.
Well, there she is, Miss Maine America, Megan Beals. Beals, a 21-year-old Holton native and grad of Northern Maine Community College, will compete against 51 other contestants for Miss America tonight. For the first time, the pageant's been moved to Vegas. Beals has spent much of her year of service advocating the issue of mentoring, but the fact that she loves being in the air is what keeps this county girl grounded.
I am aspiring to be a pilot myself. That is who my father is and what he loves. It's something that I want to be able to share with him that he can pass on to me. It's an amazing feeling because you feel so free. Just seeing things from that perspective gives you a different perspective on life.
Beals is the 5th woman from Aroostook County to win the Miss Maine crown. Local supporters can meet at the Holton Wesleyan Church tonight at 7:30 to cheer her on. Otherwise, you can watch the actual telecast tonight on CMT. Proud of her. That's my little sister, so my little pageant sister. So that's going to do it for us in our weekend edition. Have a good night.
Universal waste is basically a reclassification of solid waste for any materials that contain mercury. The best thing to remember in regard to the proper handling of universal waste is that it's recycling, not disposal. All of the units that are dropped off are sent and shipped to a licensed recycling facility for reuse. Really, when you stop and think about that, the impact on our local landfills as far as saved space is pretty substantial.
We welcome you to Aroostook County for the Biathlon Junior World Championships. We wish you luck in the races and invite you to shop our businesses. MPG Shopping Center. 2006 Moose Stompers Weekend. Advantage Payroll. County Federal Credit Union. And Reno's Family Restaurant.
It's the world's biggest oil reserve, and it's right here in North America.
It is oil.
What does it mean for our oil future? Everything. 60 Minutes, Sunday.
evening, everyone. I'm Thalia Assuris. The search in West Virginia comes to a sad end with the discovery of the bodies of 2 missing coal miners. That's where we begin tonight.
Was that right, wise guys? Right. Did you read the serial numbers? Check the dates on this? This stuff is as old as D-Day.
I have an easy way to settle this. We test what we have.
That's right. We test what we have.
We're in luck. Mr. McGill is in.
Let's take the back.
All right.
So, Maine now. Okay.
The federal government's new Medicare Part D program. Many recipients had their prescriptions rejected at pharmacies after the new program kicked in, and others were asked to pay much higher co-pays for their medications. The state has been covering prescription costs for thousands of low-income Medicare recipients who previously got their drugs through the state's Medicaid program for its Drugs for the Elderly and Disabled program. Allen says he's co-sponsoring legislation to make the federal government reimburse the state for those costs. In other news from around the state, scores of volunteers and law enforcement personnel searched the woods before an Albion woman and her 2 young daughters were found in Palermo early Saturday. The girl's father was taken into custody the night before and was being held at the county jail on 2 counts of burglary, according to a spokesman for the Waldo County Sheriff's Department, and the mother was under observation at a local hospital with similar charges pending. A legislator who represents the Penobscot Nation tribe is sponsoring a bill that aims to maintain and preserve the Penobscot language. Michael Sokolexis says his bill would deposit $300,000 in a Penobscot language preservation fund operated by the State Department of Education. And Catholic parishioners in the town of Mexico are giving mixed reactions to the likeness of a Virgin Mary that appeared on a fire-blackened wall of a home that was gutted by a fire. Some churchgoers attending yesterday's Mass at St. Teresa's Catholic Church said they were skeptical of the image, while others said its appearance is a miracle. An ice jam blocking a road in northern New Brunswick didn't stop one voter from casting his ballot. Bob Bartlett of Riley Brook hiked past a large ice jam today that was blocking a road in the area. Elections Canada officials had hoped conditions would improve enough today for the people to get out and vote, but the plows haven't been able to clear the road of ice. The province's transportation department is looking at ways to clear the ice, such as using a bulldozer. We'll have much more on the Canadian election tonight at 6. Massive cuts announced today by Ford. The motor company is closing 14 plants in North America and laying off tens of thousands of workers. Alexis Christophorus has the details.
Ford's turnaround plan is dubbed the Way Forward, but it leaves behind thousands of workers.
It's a strategy that calls for sacrifices at all levels of the company.
Ford today announced some drastic changes. Over the next 5 years, it plans to close 14 plants in North America, including assembly plants in St. Louis, Missouri, Atlanta, Georgia, Wixom, Michigan, and Batavia, Ohio, at a cost of up to 30,000 jobs.
These cuts are a painful last resort, and I'm deeply mindful of their impact.
This is Ford's second major overhaul in 2 years. What's different this time, Ford is also giving a tune-up to its product line, rolling out 5 new vehicles and a redesigned minivan. Ford is stuck with about 1 million cars and trucks a year it can't sell. At the same time, it can't make enough of its popular redesigned Mustang, proof that Ford can produce a winner. Ford is actually making money, except in North America, where it lost $1.6 billion last year. And for the first time in 19 years, Ford gave up its title as America's best-selling auto brand.
It's almost a make-or-break time, and I think they're treating it that seriously inside.
But analysts question whether Ford's plan is simply too little and about a year too late. Alexis Christophorus, CBS News, New York.
It's time for this week's Internet poll question. Log on to www.wagmtv.com to answer this. With 2 January thaws, a record-breaking snowstorm, and ice jams this month, we want to know if you can remember a winter with such unusual weather. Yes, no, or don't know. Look for the results on the Friday first edition of News Source 8. Also, if you have a suggestion for a poll question, email it to news@wagmtv.com. There's still more First Edition on the way, including Mark's weather forecast, and coming up on the evening edition.
New Brunswickers, as well as the rest of Canada, are headed to the polls today. Coming up on the evening edition at 6, we'll tell you who and what they're voting for.
With the biathlon just around the corner and people working around the clock on last-minute preparations, I'll tell you what one group is doing to help keep everyone safe coming up on the evening edition.
A friendly assist with your financial needs, waiting for you at First Citizens Bank, your local banking partner.
Pines Health Services is your local health care provider with locations in Caribou, Presque Isle, Limestone, and Van Buren. Call us to learn how we can help with all of your health care needs. Pines Health Services, our family caring for yours.
What wonders does the future hold for the next generation of healthcare? At Cary Medical Center, the future of healthcare is here now. The future has never held such promise. Cary Medical Center.
Part of the excitement at the 2006 Biathlon Junior World Championships here in Presque Isle starting January 28th.
Just when it seems that all is well with the world, you can hit one of life's little bumps in the road. To help with life's unexpected bumps, call the FAP Buddy Company. The FAP Buddy Company, when you're serious about insurance.
We train daily in every dealership, but we meet once a week so that we can go over the things that will make the customer feel really comfortable in our dealership. We're not going to pressure people, when we truly don't. We had some consumers show up yesterday with paperwork all done, ready to sign up, and they said, we just don't think we can afford it for another couple months. Fine. We'll talk to you in a couple of months. That's super. We want to develop a relationship. We don't want you to feel uncomfortable about purchasing that car today. In North Country Auto, we've said we want to be your friend in the car business. Stop by and let us prove it to you.
Welcome back. Samantha has the night off. Meteorologist Mark Schanneberger joins us now. And what's going on out there right now?
Yeah, it's snowing out there right now, and we'll have exactly what you can expect in a couple minutes. Let's first take a look at our current conditions right now in Caribou. 22 degrees, humidity at 92%. The winds are calm, and that barometer is barometer right now is at 29.95 inches, and it is falling. Temperatures around the region tonight in the 20s for most locations. We do have a 19 in Frenchville. Like I said, a 22 in Caribou, 25 in Presque Isle, a 28 in Holton, a 26 in Clayton Lake, and another 26 over in Fredericton. Further downstate, Millinocket at 22 degrees, just like Caribou, 32 degrees in Bangor, 31 in Augusta, and 33 in Portland. Satellite and radar showing the snow flurries moving through the area. There is actually a low-pressure system off to the southeast, and that's going to continue to make its way off to the northwest. But don't expect much accumulation by the morning hours tomorrow as this system continues to track off to the north and the east. We will continue to see the snow showers through the overnight hours, but like I said, don't expect much. We see a little bit of a break tomorrow as we move through the day. It looks like mostly cloudy skies, and another system out in the upper Midwest is going to continue its track eastward and get here, it looks like, late tomorrow night throughout the day on Wednesday. By tomorrow morning, I expect this for snowfall totals, 1 to 3 inches in this clear area. In the gray area, I think 2 to 4 inches, and closer to the coast, 3 to 6 inches as that system continues to track off to the north and the east. For tomorrow, we're in between a couple of systems. We see that one low-pressure system exiting our area, so we have, looks like, mostly cloudy skies for our day tomorrow, and then another system gets in here late Tuesday night into Wednesday, and there's that system right there. A little bit of a break, it looks like, as we move through the day tomorrow, at least precipitation-wise, and then this system moves in, like I said, late Tuesday into the day on Wednesday. I think we can expect around 2 to 4 inches, but the big story is check out how these isobars get tightly packed together. And the isobar is just the pressure gradient. That is going to cause the winds to pick up as we move through the day on Wednesday, and we can see wind gusts, it looks like, anywhere double this amount. It looks like 15 to 30 miles an hour for wind speeds. Wind gusts going to be double that amount, it looks like, for Wednesday night, and especially as we move through the day on Thursday. For tonight, 16 to 20,
Light snow tapers, I think 1 to 3 inches left behind by tomorrow morning. Then for tomorrow, 28 to 32 periods of sun early, then the clouds build in later as that low pressure system approaches our area. And tomorrow night is looking like this, 21 to 25 for an overnight low. Snow showers move in through the overnight hours, and that'll continue through the day on Wednesday. And on Friday, Samantha's question was about the shape of snowflakes. We're going to give you why they are the different sizes coming for our trivia question.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Mark. Let's turn our attention now to the newsroom. Rainey has our first look at sports. Rainey?
Thanks, John. 2 Woodstock curlers are taking part in the Canadian Junior Curling Championships in Ontario. After 3 days of competition, Mary Jane and Megan McGuire's team is toward the bottom of the pack. They're looking to follow the footsteps of the Andrea Kelly rink from Perth Andover, who won the Canadian title last year. Coming up at 6, Canadian Championships, Park and Ride. We'll tell you what that means as far as the biathlon goes, and some Sox notes, too. That's all coming up later. John has more after this.
Hi, welcome to Arby's. May I take your order?
At Arby's, we know things are tough right now with the price of gas and heating fuel. That's why we're introducing the Arby's Everyday Values menu. Great food and big portions at a small price. Like the Arby's Melt with slow roasted beef and melted cheddar cheese, chicken fingers, baked potatoes, side salads, and don't forget Arby's signature Jamocha shakes and curly fries, too.
I'm thinking Arby's.
Arby's. Something different. Something better. Main Street, Presque Isle.
This is Jobcast, a presentation of Reno's Family Restaurant and the Career Center, Maine's employment resource. There is a need for a quality assurance technician in the Central Aroostook area. Duties include working independently on complex stampings, wire forms, and springs for first piece, as well as final written inspection paperwork. A minimum of 5 years' experience is required. A secondary operator is needed in Central Aroostook. Duties include soldering small posts to orthodontic arch wires. This is an entry-level position on the 11:30 p.m. to 7 a.m. shift. An employer in the Northern Aroostook area seeking a full-time cook. Applicants must be self-motivated, timely, able to work well under pressure, and prepare a variety of foods. A Southern Aroostook employer is seeking tractor-trailer drivers to make local deliveries. Loads to include goods and materials in liquid, loose, or packaged forms. A Class A commercial license is required. Day and night positions are available. Jobcast is brought to you by the Career Center, Maine's employment resource, and Reno's Family Restaurant. Reno's Family Restaurant, where family and friends meet and eat on Sweden Street in Caribou.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Northern Maine Medical Center.
Crunch time at Ford. Like other American car makers, the auto giant is in deep trouble and facing massive layoffs. Tonight, will a new plan to restructure Ford, along with snazzy new models, be enough to save the ailing company? See why more people are watching the CBS Evening News, the fastest-growing network evening newscast.
At Capitol Hill today, the 2 recent deadly mining tragedies in West Virginia were on the table. Senators wanted to know what can be done to make the underground industry safer. Jennifer Donlin recaps today's hearings from Washington.
In the first weeks of January, 14 miners lost their lives in 2 separate West Virginia tragedies, leading to calls for change.
These deaths, I believe, were entirely preventable.
A Senate subcommittee grilled government, coal industry, and mining officials asking about stiffer fines and penalties for mine violations.
It's one thing to issue fines and penalties, but if you do some investigating here, you're going to find something. And on appeal, those fines are reduced to almost nothing.
They asked about better equipment for miners.
$750 per miner to be able to have communications. $20 to tell us where they are. It seems to me this is the investments we ought to be making.
We want to know how that lines up with the dollars and cents.
Yes, I can tell you that there will be additional funding for safety technology, mine safety technology in the President's 07 budget.
And what happens when a mine is found to be unsafe?
But the Mine Act does not contain a provision that allows a preemptive closure of a mine for accumulated bad acts.
As Congress looks at the federal laws to try to prevent tragedies like the 2 in West Virginia, the legislature there is already on task, considering new state laws aimed at ensuring every worker walks out of a mine alive every day. And West Virginia's governor is planning a trip here to Capitol Hill on Tuesday to lobby lawmakers. Joe Manchin wants federal laws to require better oxygen, tracking, and rescue equipment. Jennifer Donlin, CBS News, Washington.
Abortion opponents gathered in Washington today for a march from the Capitol to the Supreme Court, which they hope will eventually overturn Roe v. Wade. The abortion rights supporters held their own rally outside the Supreme Court last night on the 33rd anniversary of the decision that legalized abortion. They urged the Senate to reject the nomination of Judge Samuel Alito to the High Court. Abortion opponents, meanwhile, say they're encouraged that President Bush picked Alito to replace Sandra Day O'Connor. The president is scheduled to address today's rally by phone. Turning to financial news now, Julie Hyman has the Bloomberg After the Bell report.
Stocks recovered from their worst drop in 2 years as oil prices declined. Also helping stocks were improved earnings outlooks from Ford Motor and American Express. Ford will close 14 factories and cut as many as 30,000 jobs over the next 6 years. The automaker is slashing costs as part of a plan to end North American losses in 2008. And American Express profit rose 12% as consumers bought more goods and services using its cards. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 21 points, the S&P 500 gained 2 points, and the NASDAQ added about 1 point. And a deal in the grocery business, SuperValu, CBS, and a group of investment firms agreed to buy Albertsons for almost $10 billion. The buyers will split the chain into 3 parts. And Nike Chief Executive Officer William Perez quit after a year on the job because of differences with founder and chairman Philip Knight. 27-year Nike veteran Mark Parker was named Perez's replacement. And that's the latest in business. At the New York Stock Exchange, I'm Julie Hyman with the Bloomberg After the Bell report.
Market Watch is brought to you by Chester M. Carney, Certified Public Accountants.
Hello, I'm Chad Bartley from Chester M. Carney CPAs. We're your total account service provider for individual, corporate, and nonprofits. For a full list of our services, including tax and financial tips, visit our website, give us a call, or stop by.
Sprint Business is reinventing the yes man, turning the yes man into someone who can work from almost anywhere. And now that Sprint and Nextel have come together, you can work in and out of the office more efficiently, the way 96% of the Fortune 1000 already do. So saying yes from just about anywhere with speed and confidence makes me a yes man. I'm a yes man.
With Sprint Business, you can make just about any place a workplace. Yes, you can.
It's Winter Madness Days at Tendance Meubles Levasseur with crazy rebates throughout the store. Save up to 70% on furniture and decorating items. It's a great time to get a new mattress set. And remember, Americans receive a premium on U.S. funds. Everything must be sold. Take advantage of the crazy prices during the Winter Madness Days at Tendance Meubles Levasseur. Tendance Meubles Levasseur, 50 Monseigneur Claude Avenue, Edmundston.
Long Lake Country Club is under new management, and changes are incredible, and so is the food. Stop in for delicious homemade meals and daily specials, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. There's weekend entertainment, and if you need your golf fix, you can play around indoors on the golf simulator. Snowmobilers ride right up on Madawaska's Trail System 98B. Book your parties today for any occasion. Membership discounts for the golf course are also available now. Good times, good food, and good company all await you at the Long Lake Country Club.
Tomorrow, if you were the victim of a brutal crime, could you forgive your attacker?
I don't think they meant to rape me.
One woman's remarkable story on The Early Show.
Looking for a simple yet filling recipe? Brian Yocano has one in today's Cooking County Style segment.
For those cool county nights, why not spice things up a little with a tamale pie? This recipe for Cooking County Style was submitted by Geraldine Williams and is being prepared by the Loring Job Corps Culinary Arts students.
And here are the ingredients. 2 pounds lean ground beef, 1 cup chopped onions, 2 minced cloves of garlic, 1/2 cup chopped green pepper, 1 16-ounce can of tomatoes chopped, 1 16-ounce can drained whole kernel corn, 1 cup sliced black olives, 2.5 teaspoons of chili powder, 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, 1 cup shredded cheese. For the toppings, use 1.5 cups hot milk, 2 tablespoons butter or margarine, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 cup cornmeal, 1 cup shredded cheese, and 2 slightly beaten eggs.
The first thing we're going to do is put our ground beef in here, along with our onions, green peppers, and garlic. We're going to take and brown off the beef until there's no pink and the vegetables are just tender. At this time, we will add the tomatoes, the corn, and the black olives. We'll mix that all in, let that simmer for about 10 minutes. And put our mixture into a prepared dish or pan in this case. We will add the one cup of cheese. We will put this into the oven at a low temperature of about 200 degrees. While the meat mixture is in the oven, we will take our milk, our butter, and bring it to a boil. Once the milk mixture has come to a boil, we will turn the heat down just a little bit. We will add our cornmeal and continue to cook until it thickens. Okay, once it has thickened, we will take it off the heat. We will take and whisk in our egg real quick and our cheese. At this point, this is ready to go on top of our tamale mixture. Now we will pour our cornmeal mixture onto the top and spread it out. Okay, at this time we'll put it back into an oven at 375 degrees for 35 to 40 minutes, or until it has turned nice and brown on the top. This is one of the type of dishes there that you might want on a Saturday night while you're watching a ball game, or a Sunday afternoon, right? With a few tortilla chips, little salsa to go along with it, and maybe a little guacamole.
And this is a full-flavored meal that'll bring a little spice to your dinner table, and that's Cooking County style.
My goodness, I'm hungry. If you have a recipe you'd like featured in our Cooking County Style segment, mail it to Cooking County Style at WAGM TV 12 Brewer Road, Presque Isle, Maine 04769, or email it to news@WAGMTV.com.
To be eligible for Job Corps, you need to be between the ages of 16 through 24. You need to be a U.S. citizen or legal resident. You need to meet the program's income requirements, and you need to be ready to learn, work, and become a leader. You can come to Job Corps, earn your high school diploma or your GED, and we'll also help you with your driver's license if you don't have that. If you're interested in the Job Corps program, please call me, and we'll set up an appointment for you to come and tour the center and see all the opportunities Job Corps has to offer you.
The road to fitness.
Athletic training is an allied healthcare profession that specializes in the realm of injury prevention and rehabilitation. An athletic trainer can help keep you injury-free or help you return to full functional activity after an injury has occurred. Take advantage of athletic training at the Health and Wellness Centers.
It's a brand new year, and that's reason enough for a healthy new beginning at the Health and Wellness Centers at the Caribou and Presque Isle Inn and Convention Centers. Get a 3-month membership for just $90, or get a 6-month membership for $180. Start off a whole new year with a whole new you.
Part of the excitement at the 2006 Biathlon Junior World Championships here in Presque Isle, starting January 28th.
Reduce your electric bill by 10% and win $1,000? Now there's a win-win idea for everyone. You could win a $1,000 rebate on an Energy Star appliance if you cut your energy use by just 10% this winter. How can you save energy? Turn the thermostat down, delay laundry and dishes until you have a full load, and switch to energy-efficient bulbs. It could help you win a $1,000 rebate. For more tips and details, go to efficiencymaine.com. Save a watt, maybe win a lot.
Okay, shut her down.
And we'll all be better off here in Maine this winter.
Vampires scared off the competition at the weekend box office. The blood-drenched Kate Beckinsale thriller Underworld Evolution debuted in the top spot, earning more than $27.5 million. The animated update of the Little Red Riding Hood story, Hoodwinked, fell to second place with $11 million. The true-life basketball saga, Glory Road, followed in third, ahead of the Queen Latifah comedy, Last Holiday. Last week's Golden Globe Awards provided a big box office bump for its winning films, most notably Ang Lee's Brokeback Mountain, which rounded out the top 5. The film, which follows the 20-year forbidden romance between two ranch hands, won 4 Golden Globes, including the Best Motion Picture Drama Award. He was found 2 months ago, starving and injured with little chance to survive. Now Stinky is getting a new home and a new lease on life. The pungent pelican got a free ride to a place where birds go to get well. Sharon Melton has more from South Florida.
It's a special delivery to Fort Lauderdale Executive Airport Sunday afternoon that had a little helping hand to get here.
Hey, welcome to South Florida.
Inside this cage is a pelican named Stinky, and he is in need of some real help.
He's doing pretty well right now. His problem right now is that he's in the wrong place. Most of the pelicans have migrated down here, and we need to get him back on the right track.
Back in December, Stinky was found starving and injured on a beach in North Carolina when he was just 4 months old, very thin and very weak. He did slightly recover. Now he needs a more natural setting that might prepare Stinky for the wild. So a couple in Virginia gave him a ride all the way to Florida.
Just serving the role of bringing it down here so it can join a flock of other birds and all learn from each other and then be released together. So we were pleased to play a very small part, and it's the rehabber in North Carolina and this lady who have done all the work.
He needs to finish his wildlife rehabilitation down here, where we have saltwater pools, we have the warm Florida sunshine.
So from Fort Lauderdale, Stinky arrives at his next destination, here at the Pelican Harbor Seabird Station in Miami. This is the place where injured pelicans and other birds come to recuperate and get the care they need.
Secure in this little house. Hi, Stinky. Hi, stretch your wings.
And when Stinky feels comfortable, he comes out of his cage and says hello, gets a quick checkup, and checks out his surroundings. He's then introduced to other pelicans. The hope is he will learn from other pelicans to prepare him for the day he's released back into the wild.
And when we release them, we'll release them as a group so that Stinky will be back on the road to migrating like a normal pelican.
Katie and I will have more news after this short break.
Aroostook Savings and Loan. We've been helping your friends and neighbors since 1936.
You wouldn't dump your trash on your neighbor's lawn. So why would you break it into a zillion tiny pieces and spread it through your neighbor's air? That's what happens when you burn your trash. You don't get rid of it. You just change it into hundreds of dangerous airborne toxins. Burning trash hurts people, and it hurts the natural world around us. And in Maine, burning trash is illegal. So let's all put our trash where it belongs. A message from the state of Maine.
Education concerning universal waste is an ongoing process in Aroostook County. I think the education process is working because from 2003 to 2005, we've noticed nearly a 50% increase in the dropping off of these universal waste items. Anyone needing further information can call Pine Tree Waste at 888-769-9922, and we'd be glad to give you whatever information you need for proper recycling of universal waste.
Stop by FOF Fanatic for a demonstration of the FOF 2144 with over 290 stitches and 6 alphabets at your fingertips. It offers a touchscreen, precise positioning, and can combine stitches. For a great mid-range machine, try the FOF 2124 with 52 built-in stitches and a 9x5.5-inch embroidery area. We also have cotton Metler threads in 108 colors and 40-weight Robinson Anton rayon threads in over 300 colors. Make your linens, clothing, and home decor unique with a little help from FOF Fanatic on the Bailey Road in Caribou.
This is WAGM-TV Channel 8 Presque Isle. You're watching News Source 8, the Evening Edition.
Good evening, I'm John Gulliver.
And I'm Katie Graham. Canadians vote today for a new national leader and the House of Commons.
Dick Palm crossed the border to find out what was on people's minds in this election.
New Brunswickers, as well as the rest of Canada, are choosing between 13 years of Liberal Party rule or a new government that could shift the country toward the conservative right, seeking to cut social programs funded by high taxes. Most people found time in their daily schedule to stop by their local polling station.
Well, I'm going to go over to the bank and do a little shopping and come and vote.
Polls opened at 8:30 a.m. and by late morning, Elections Canada was reporting early turnout as brisk. On the national scene, the battle seems to be between Liberal Prime Minister Paul Martin and Conservative leader Stephen Harper. Martin's government and the 308-member House of Commons were dissolved in November, making this election a little premature for one voter.
Well, I always exercise my democratic right, although this year I do feel I'm voting a bit under duress because I didn't agree with the idea of us having to have an election. It's too soon. It's very costly.
Politics is pretty much the same no matter what side of the border you're on.
I look for a candidate that's interested in the people of the community, what's going on for work, education, hospital, things like that.
Another area voter is looking for someone who will truthfully do what they say they're going to do, especially when it comes to highway work.
Well, we have a lot of road construction that's being done around here, and that really needs to be finished because there's a lot of accidents on the highways.
And if it weren't for this sign, one might think this was a typical stateside election.
We don't seem to have a lot of choice between the two main parties, and it's been quite a dilemma to decide which would really be the better party to govern this time.
Dick Palm, News Source 8.
Polls will remain open until 8:30 Atlantic time this evening.
Governor John Baldacci and Maine Congressman Tom Allen this afternoon announced steps being taken to help elderly and disabled Mainers who've had problems getting prescription drugs during the transition to the federal government's new Medicare Part D program. Many recipients had their prescriptions rejected at pharmacies after the new program kicked in, and others were asked to pay much higher co-pays for their new medications. Allen says the new program is a disaster for many people it was designed to help. The state has been covering prescription costs for thousands of low-income Medicare recipients who previously got their drugs through the state's Medicaid program or its Drugs for the Elderly and Disabled program. Allen says he's co-sponsoring legislation to make the federal government reimburse the state for those costs. On Friday, U.S. Senators Olympia Snowe and Susan Collins said they've been assured by Health and Human Services Secretary Michael Leavitt that Maine and other states will be reimbursed for the millions of dollars they've spent so far to fill the coverage gaps.
Feed the County has been providing food to those struggling to make ends meet for years, but most recently awareness of the program has spread twofold. Brian Yacono has more.
For Feed the County, the proof is in the numbers.
Every year, the numbers of people who need continue to increase. And I think that part of that is that every year it seems that things go, the cost of living gets higher and higher.
Last year, more than 21,000 people received meals from Aroostook's 18 pantries Feed the County services.
Every month, the 18 pantries that we serve are serving hundreds of meals, hundreds of people each month, women, children, elderly people, disabled people, whatever the case may be, unemployed people, whatever those cases may be.
But the numbers are also rising in donations. In the nearly 3 years Feed the County has been active, more than $98,000 in food and money has been donated. Just $6,000 the first year, $30,000 the second, and more than $60,000 last year.
There's people here in our backyard that need help, and a lot of people during the whole Hurricane Katrina thing realized that I may not be able to do anything for people in New Orleans right now because it's so far away, but I can sure help people right here in my own community.
The fiscal year for Catholic Charities begins in October, and since that time they've already collected almost $13,000 worth of food and monetary donations, and Shaw says that's a good start for 2006.
If history repeats itself as it did last year with DFAS, ITEL, and the Maine Military Authority, that'll boost our numbers up real quickly and give us a really good start.
Shaw says many area schools have started food drives to assist Feed the County as well, a sign the awareness to feed the area's hungry is spreading to the next generation. Brian Yacono, News Source 8.
Feed the County is a collaborative effort between WAGM-TV, Catholic Charities Maine, and Aroostook Savings and Loan.
The price of gasoline continues to climb as oil prices increase. According to AAA, today's price for a gallon of unleaded is just under $2.44 in Maine. In Presque Isle, the price jumped 5 cents today to $2.64 a gallon. The national average is $2.33 a gallon, making gasoline 11 cents more expensive in Maine. Gas prices today are 17 cents a gallon higher than they were a month ago in the state and 55 cents a gallon higher than a year ago. A Caribou woman was transported to Cary Medical Center after an accident on Bennett Drive this afternoon. According to Caribou officer Sean Smith, around 2:45 p.m., 77-year-old Muriel Martin was traveling east on Bennett Drive when she attempted to turn left into First Citizens Bank and slammed into a Honda Civic headed west. That vehicle was driven by 33-year-old Peggy Gonier. Caribou ambulance transported Gonier to Cary Medical Center with non-life-threatening injuries. Martin was also driven to the hospital by a family member. Officer Smith estimates each vehicle suffered $4,000 to $5,000 in damage.
As many people count down the days until the biathlon kicks off, some are still working on final preparations. Jillian Mealy takes a look at what medical volunteers are doing these final days and what will be keeping them busy during the event.
The upcoming biathlon is not the first event the Aroostook Medical Center has covered, but it is by far the largest.
We've covered some events out to Maine Winter Sports Center previously, but they're certainly on a much smaller scale than this, and the coverage for this is expanded far beyond what we've ever done before.
They've been working around the clock, putting final touches on their preparations.
Coordinating the volunteers, getting people assigned, making sure that we meet all the needs of the IBU for the doping marshals and the anti-doping that will be taking place out there, as well as making sure that we have all the first aid events covered to the extent that we need to.
The response for volunteers was phenomenal. They are fully staffed with about 60 to 70 people helping.
It's being spearheaded by the Aroostook Medical Center, but certainly the University of Maine at Presque Isle sports medicine folks, athletic trainers, and Northern Maine Community College nursing and EMS students are all playing key roles. We've all been working together as a team to provide the medical coverage.
There will be medical staff at various locations throughout the biathlon's entirety, along with this first aid room that will be the designated treatment area.
There will be a doctor on site every day, as well as a nurse and numerous athletic trainers providing the first aid coverage, and there will be an ambulance on site at all times as well.
McKinney says the biathlon will not have an impact on the medical center in any way while the event is taking place.
We're not expecting this to adversely impact us in any way. Most everything will be treated on site, and there will be very, very few people that will be in need of emergency room treatment.
In the end, the long hours and busy schedules will be worth it.
It's been a tremendous effort. A lot of hours have been put in by a lot of people, and we really expect this will be a great event.
Jillian Mealy, News Source 8.
Meteorologist Mark Shannenberger will let you know how much snow to expect coming up.
And in tonight's Medical Monday, Sean Cunningham reports on a county family coping with June syndrome.
Dodge Ram with available MDX that turns our powerful Hemi V8 into a fuel-saving 4-cylinder at cruising speeds. Plus, traction give you incredible capability.
One of these days we're going to have to actually use those things. Whatever.
Winter is so much more fun when you have the proper equipment. Qualified returning lessees can lease a Ram 1500 SLT for $249 a month after $1,000 overstock bonus cash.
Excitement's in the air across eastern Maine. Could it be basketball? Nah, it's the big winter sale at Down East Toyota. Our Toyotathon sale was a huge success, and now we're loaded with trade-ins. Our game plan is to sell them all, and we've priced them so you're the winner. Time out. We sold so many new Toyotas last year, we've earned a gigantic allocation for 2006. You win again with Maine's best selection of new Toyotas right here in Brewer. Take possession today from Maine's #1 Toyota team, Down East Toyota, Wilson Street, Brewer.
How are you getting around this winter? You could blaze new trails, slide through the countryside, stroll your way along, or you could power your way through. At the County Federal Credit Union, we'll put you on the snow in style. The County Federal Credit Union is offering rates as low as 4.99% on new and used models of snowmobiles, cars, and trucks. Make tracks to the County Federal Credit Union. With cool rates like these, we'll take the bite out of winter.
Medical Monday is being brought to you by Visiting Nurses of Aroostook.
It is estimated 1 per 100,000 children will be born with June syndrome. In tonight's Medical Monday report, Sean Cunningham examines what the disease is and how one local family is coping with their child's diagnosis.
8-month-old Paige Linto hasn't been in the world long enough to understand life's hardships, and yet that's all she's known. This newborn was diagnosed with June's disease, an inherited form of dwarfism which produces short limbs, a small chest, and kidney problems well before she was born.
We just didn't know what it was, and they said, well, it might be this and it might be that. It was kind of a relief just to know that they knew what it was, but then, you know, she's going to have a long road ahead of her.
At first, I felt like it was something I had done. You know, maybe I'd done something wrong when I was pregnant or ate the wrong things or whatever, but that was pretty much my first reaction.
Still, the Lintos decided to have Paige, knowing regardless of the disease, she was a blessing sent from God. But the joy of her arrival has been mixed with the turmoil of the disease.
It's very stressful. She's on medicine for her liver. She's on steroids and albuterol for her lungs to help her, and she doesn't eat through a bottle. She has a tube in her nose. That's the only way she eats, because it actually plays her out. She ends up losing weight by eating, because it's like exercise for her.
Children with June's disease, also known as asphyxiating thoracic dystrophy, can die from respiratory failure, brought on by a very small chest and repeated respiratory infections. Now, the Lintos must prepare Paige for her biggest challenge yet, a procedure called Vector, a vertical expandable prosthetic titanium rib surgery. They'll travel to Texas, where doctors will assess if Paige is too tiny to undergo the procedure, or if she's big enough and physically fit enough to withstand it. If not,
I guess we'll go right back to the drawing board and start looking at other procedures that might be done to help give her more room to breathe.
Pete says if she does have the surgery, it'll be the first of 2 a year for the next 18 years. It's indeed an abnormal situation that they hope will give their child as close to a normal life as possible. But through it all, they're optimistic that there'll be a happy ending for Paige.
We live day by day, and if we don't stay optimistic, it's too much. It's very overwhelming.
Sean Cunningham, News Source 8.
If you'd like to help the Lintos, you can contact them at P.O. Box 125, Presque Isle, Maine 04769.
VNA has a tradition of providing compassionate care throughout the county.
I would say working with individuals such as Mrs. Tilley is very rewarding. You're looking at everybody that's involved, whether it's the client, the family, environment, what it is that they need, what is it that they can't do, and with that we look at the goals to help treat the client. We look at any unmet needs, and we see that the client does get them.
It encouraged me to do what I wanted to do myself. Choose Visiting Nurses and Hospice of Aroostook.
Shop Buzzell's great selection of Red Wing boots and shoes. With over 85 models in stock, Red Wings are made in the USA and are the most comfortable you'll find anywhere. For the largest selection and the best prices on Red Wings in Maine, shop Buzzell's in downtown Caribou.
Isn't it funny how the more you save, the more you smile?
A friendly assist with your financial needs, waiting for you at First Citizens Bank, your local banking partner.
Weather is brought to you by Carroll's Auto Sales, your Chevy, Buick, GMC, and Cadillac dealer in Presque Isle.
Well, Mark, the snow has started falling, but is this the big one we need?
No, I don't think it's going to be all that big. It'll be enough to just coat the ground, it looks like, in most locations, but any little bit's going to help for the biathlon this weekend. Let's take a look at our current conditions right now in Caribou. 23 degrees, humidity at 92%. The wind's out of the north at 6 miles an hour, and that barometer is at 29.93 inches, and it is falling. Weather watchers checking in around the area right now. Fredericton at 3 below Celsius. We have Island Falls at 20, Portage checking in with 22, Frenchville at 27, Presque Isle at 25, and Holton at 28 degrees right now. Further downstate, we see Millinockets at 22, we have Bangor checking in at 30, Augusta at 30, and Portland checking in at 34 degrees, Boston also at 34 degrees. Radar and satellite showing a system moving through the area. You can see the flurries starting to fly out there already. If you've been driving over the last couple hours, you know the flurries already starting to coat the ground. That'll continue through much of the overnight hours, but it'll taper by tomorrow morning. And I think snowfall amounts are going to shape up like this: 1 to 3 inches in the clear area, 2 to 4 inches in that gray area, and then closer to the coast, I think 3 to 6 inches. As far as the national satellite and radar go, well, you can see the system continuing to track off to the north and the east. Snow flurries, like I said, through the overnight hours. It'll taper by tomorrow morning. It looks like a little bit of a break, and then our next system will move in here. You can see it in the upper Midwest. That's going to move in late Tuesday into the day on Wednesday, and that one's going to have, it looks like, a little bit more moisture associated with it as it moves through here, so that could give us a little bit more than what this storm's going to give us. I think, like I said, 1 to 3 inches from this storm, and it looks like maybe 2 to 4 inches from that storm that'll move through here Tuesday night through the day on Wednesday. Another big story with that is winds. We'll get to that in a little bit. On Friday, Samantha asked us about the shape of a snowflake. Today we're going to ask about the size. We've all seen large snowflakes. What do they indicate? Do they indicate a storm is coming to an end? Do they indicate the snowflake has become watery? Or do they indicate, C, that the wind is about to pick up? We'll have the answer after the break.
Hi, I'm Gene from Gene's Electronics, coming to you from the Aroostook Center Mall. Here's the deal. Sign up for Dish Network, and for the first 3 months, receive America's Top 60 for only $19.99 a month, and as a bonus, 25 movie channels free for the first 3 months. Whether you want a high-definition receiver, a DVR, or both, you can get them free through Dish Network, and as always, free standard professional installation. For the best technology at the lowest all-digital price, get Dish Network from Gene's Electronics, serving all of Aroostook County from Allagash to Holton.
I sometimes like to talk to my mother. I sometimes lay in bed, I think about stuff, and I just like to talk to her because I know she's right there with me all the time. I just say that me and my brother are doing fine, that I love her, and then I just talk about my day and just how good it's been, but yet I wish she was there with me.
Roosters. They know mornings and what it takes to get off to a great one. That's why they want to get you to Tim Hortons, a better place for a better cup of coffee. Our own premium blend brewed fresh every 20 minutes. Have a great morning at Tim Hortons. Enjoy a coffee with a bagel, just $1.89.
Hey, football fans, get ready. It's Wheel of Fortune's NFL Players Week.
Catch the Buccaneers' Derek Brooks, the Falcons' Warwick Dunn, and the Dolphins' Jason Taylor. The NFL is back next Wheel, weeknights at 7.
It's time to celebrate. Carol's Auto Sales has outsold every dealer in Aroostook County on new vehicles, and for a reason. With the addition of the GMC franchise, Carol stocks more vehicles for you to choose from, saving you money. For the best deals, celebrate with Carol's Auto Sales, #1 in Aroostook County.
All right, before the break, we've asked you, we all seen the larger than normal size snowflakes. What do they indicate? A, a storm is coming to an end. B, snowflakes have become watery. Or C, the wind is about to pick up. And they actually indicate B, that the snowflake has become watery. When the temperature is near or above 32 degrees, the edges of the snowflake have that liquid layer to them, which makes them sticky and allows them to bond together. It can actually happen on the backside of a system, but usually on the backside of the system you deal with cooler air, not warmer air, so the temperature wouldn't be warming up, and that's why the A, when the storm is coming to an end, is not the correct answer. Tomorrow is an in-between day. We see the system exiting our area. We have another system moving in through the overnight hours. There's that system, but it looks like for tomorrow, mostly cloudy skies with some peaks of sunshine. This system moves in here. It has a little bit more energy than the system that we just saw pass through here. The winds will pick up. We could see 2 to 4 inches of snow from that system. And like I said, the wind's going to probably be the biggest story as we move through the day on Wednesday and through the day on Thursday. I think they're going to whip between 15 and 30 miles an hour throughout the day on Wednesday. and maybe gusts double that. The forecast for tonight, 16 to 20, light wind tapers, 1 to 3 inches left behind. Then for tomorrow, 28 to 32, periods of sun early, but the clouds will build in late as that low pressure system approaches. Through the overnight hours tomorrow, 21 to 25, snow showers move in through the overnight hours. They'll continue through the day on Wednesday. The winds pick up, like I said. Thursday, it looks like a little bit chillier as we see a high-pressure system start to build in, just not enough on Thursday. Then on Friday, it looks like partly sunny conditions and a high temperature of 25 degrees, and maybe a flurry late on Saturday, but looks like a little bit of snowfall today and tomorrow, just enough to coat the ground for the biathlon this weekend on Saturday, and maybe a flurry late Saturday into the day on Sunday could give them another fresh coating for Sunday.
Might need the snow guns.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very much, Mark. We'll be back with sports right after this.
Introducing Jeep Commander Limited with the electronic stability program, 3 rows of stadium seats, side curtain airbags, and an available 5.7-liter Hemi V8.
Would you please stop following me home?
For the first time ever, get $1,000 overstock bonus cash, which puts Jeep Commander under 28 grand.
Don't be late. I was 16 when I found out that I was pregnant with Carrie. I wasn't married and I was really scared. You know, some people today say that I should have had an abortion. But it never occurred to me that I had that choice just because it wasn't convenient for me. Hey, I'm no martyr. But I really can't believe I had a choice after I was pregnant. Think about it.
Part of the excitement at the 2006 Biathlon Junior World Championships here in Presque Isle, starting January 28th.
Find out why over 73 million viewers can't get enough of CSI Miami.
2 shots ring out, these 2 get dropped.
A murder leads to an employee blog.
Looks like Sally was sharing company secrets. I wonder what a blog about this place would say.
Now everyone's secrets are out.
I had a wonderful time, Leslie.
So did I.
Uh-oh. Someone did not take the online harassment seminar.
New CSI Miami, CBS tonight. Who will be sent to Exile Island? The new Survivor begins CBS Thursday, February 2nd.
Time now for a check of sports. For that, we go to Rainey Kluge. What's going on, Rainey?
Little curling. We're going to talk about the New Brunswick team. It's in Ottawa for the Canadian Junior Championships. Not off to a good start. It's their first year at this competition and still young, so we'll see how they do next year.
Sounds good.
And day 3 at the Canadian Junior Curling Championships in the New Brunswick rink with Woodstock curlers Mary Jane and Megan McGuire competing as part of the New Brunswick entrant. The McGuire's father, Gerald, coaches the team, which includes Ashley Howard and Sarah Berthelot of Moncton. The New Brunswick team fell to the Northwest Territories earlier today, 10-4. They have a record of 1-4 after 5 round-robin drives. Well, if you don't have a parking pass, you won't be able to park at the Nordic Heritage Center for the next 2 weeks. The Park and Ride is now open with bus transportation to the venue. Park and Ride is on Route 167 just past the Parker Siding turnoff. Transportation begins each morning at 6:30. The Park and Ride will be utilized every day during the World Junior Biathlon Championships, and buses will be running between the venue and the park and the ride site every few minutes. Well, the Sunrise Conference has named its players and rookies of the week, and another University of Maine Fort Kent player has picked up the award. Nicole Corbin of UMFK is the player of the week after scoring 35 points against the College of St. Joseph in a win yesterday. Corbin averaged over 23 points a game in a 3-0 week. Angela Quayle of the University of Maine Machias, a senior from Benedicta, was an honorable mention for that award. Arcilla Jeffers of UMFK made the Rookie of the Week honor roll, and on the men's side, Ritas Priunas of UMaine Fort Kent made the Player of the Week honor roll, while Hamel Basu made the honor roll for the Rookie of the Week award. Also, Joanna Bubar of UMaine Presque Isle has been named the Rookie of the Week by the Maine Basketball Coaches and Writers Association. The Southern Aroostook Warriors will try to avenge their only loss of the year tonight when they host Central Aroostook. That game getting underway shortly in Dyer Brook. Easton Washburn, LCS MSSM in Madawaska, Stearns Holton, Katahdin Bangor Christian, Ashland and Wisdom Girls all play on the boys' side. It's Narragansett at East Grand. Couple of recaps from Saturday. Congratulations to Greg Whitaker of Presque Isle and Kristen Violet of Fort Kent. They became the latest members of the 1,000-point club. Violet did it during an upset win at Central in East Corinth on Saturday, and Whitaker surpassed the 1,000-point mark during his team's first loss of the year against John Bapst Saturday evening. In ski action, Fort Kent swept Alpine races at Lonesome Pine on the girls' side. Fort Kent ended with 19 points. Presque Isle second. Caitlin Pelletier of Madawaska, the race winner. Lindsay Sear and Ali Charette of Fort Kent followed. In the giant slalom, Fort Kent ended with 16 points. Presque Isle second. Cassie Valancourt of Fort Kent won the race with teammate Lindsay Sear and Christina McKinney of Presque Isle following. Boys' side, Fort Kent swept the top 5 spots in the slalom, led by Alex Mitchell, Derek Pelletier, and Carter Valancourt. And in the GS, once again, a clean sweep for Fort Kent with Mitchell winning again, and it was Mike Michaud and Valancourt following. The Colby College Ski Carnival held over the weekend. Bjorn Bakken of UMaine Presque Isle had the best finish of his career with a 7th place run in the 20K event. The first Long Lake Fishing Derby saw 290 entrants looking for the big one, and some big fish were hooked during the Derby. Top prize went to Mark Ford of Bangor, who landed a 7-pound, 1-ounce, 26-inch long salmon. Jason Castonguay of Wallagrass was second. 10-year-old Trevor Belfleur of Madawaska third, and 13-year-old Andrew Sear of Madawaska ended up fourth. Well, this is shaping up as a big week for the Red Sox. Theo Epstein is expected to appear at a news conference sometime this week to reveal his new role in the Red Sox front office. The team announced last week that Epstein was returning full-time, but did not say in what capacity. Meanwhile, persistent rumors, not yet confirmed by the Red Sox, that the team is close to plugging 2 holes. The Globe and Herald are reporting that the Red Sox and Cleveland Indians are working on a deal that would bring center fielder Coco Crisp to Boston. Up to 6 players could be involved, with the Indians getting Andy Marte and Guillermo Mota. Red Sox also working on picking up a shortstop in the deal, too. Published reports indicate the Red Sox are signing, or could be signing, free agent shortstop Alex Gonzalez, who played 8 seasons with the Marlins. And quickly, Kobe Bryant, not a bad night, 81 points for the second highest NBA total. Of course, that means that if you scored 81 points, every time you touched the ball, you shot it. And he did have a pretty good night last night. Second only to Wilt Chamberlain, only the 5th player ever to score more than 70 points in a game. Michael Jordan is not in that group.
Amazing, isn't it?
It is.
It's more than I scored in my high school career.
I was going to say that.
Thanks, Ray. That's going to do it for us this evening.
The CBS Evening News is next.
Good night, everyone.
How are you getting around this winter? You could blaze new trails, slide through the countryside, stroll your way along, or you could power your way through. At the County Federal Credit Union, we'll put you on the snow in style. The County Federal Credit Union is offering rates as low as 4.99% on new and used models of snowmobiles, cars, and trucks. Make tracks to the County Federal Credit Union. With cool rates like these, we'll take the bite out of winter.
I've worked here at Cary for over 30 years, and like a lot of us, I kind of took my good health for granted. And even though I had no warning signs, I asked my doctor about a colonoscopy. When he told me I had a tumor and that it was cancer, I was shocked. After Dr. Zuno did my surgery at Cary, no further treatment was required. Every time I need to know how important it was, I think of my family. Talk to your doctor. Know your risks. Get the screening.
You wouldn't dump your trash on your neighbor's lawn. So why would you break it into a zillion tiny pieces and spread it through your neighbor's air? That's what happens when you burn your trash. You don't get rid of it. You just change it into hundreds of dangerous airborne toxins. Burning trash hurts people, and it hurts the natural world around us. And in Maine, burning trash is illegal. So let's all put our trash where it belongs. A message from the state of Maine.
Divorce, loss of job, and health issues. Life can deal some pretty tough blows at times, and with those, often the credit score suffers. Hi, I'm Randy from North Country Auto, and I've got some great news. Credit Builders. In North Country Auto, we can improve your loan right in the dealership. And Credit Builders reports. We'll help you establish your good pay history. Stop by any one of our locations today and ask about Credit Builders. Drive away today with North Country Auto and Credit Builders.
Good evening, I'm Bob Schieffer. Ford Motor Company is losing money, and today it announced a huge cutback in its workforce as it...
Even better, I'll throw it at their crotch. We don't want those people reproducing.
So, Donna, sounds good. You and Randy in a cabin, breathing in the fresh mountain air, having sex.
What are you talking about?
Well, you see, when a boy likes a girl, the boy gets the girl drunk.
Hide. That's not going to happen.